It's Amethyst Virgo. Welcome if you are a returner or a new subscriber, or my video just happened to pop up on your feed somehow. Hopefully Libra season treated you well. I will say I didn't quite feel as productive during Libra season. When I went back to even look at the horoscope for Virgo, it kind of rang true for me as well of what I experienced. I was able to capitalize a little bit off Libra season, but as far as my own motivation, I just felt like it was too much Venusian energy and it really didn't work well for me. I also have Venus in Cancer, so at one point it was squaring my Venus. So I think I was a little too relaxed. Like I still was effective in doing what I need to do, but Libra season typically isn't my season. Scorpio season, I like when Scorpio transits my third house. So looking forward to Scorpio season. Hopefully you are as well, regardless of whether you are a Scorpio, Scorpio moon, or you're not a Scorpio, anything. You may be Scorpio is only ruling a house in your chart and Scorpio is not, you don't have a planet or anything significant in Scorpio. Either way, it does matter what season we're in. I'm going to jump into how it may affect you. So Aries. Now, with Aries and Scorpio, though you are both ruled by Mars, you know Scorpio has that Pluto effect, and this is in quincunx, 5 signs apart, awkward energy between each other. Now, typically I can say that Aries energy and Scorpio energy within an individual's chart can sometimes be beneficial. But with this, at this time, Scorpio influences you to harness your power in different ways. You may have, keep looking up my notes that I typed up. You may realize that there are other forces that play a role in how you need to respond. What you want, you might not be able to do it in the usual way that you do it, which is going to be fine. All right. There's an opportunity for you to obtain what you want, but through different methods than usual. So use the Mars energy in a different way. It's more intense. It's more focused. Okay. And what you want may vary depending on what you want. Every Aries may not have the same desires, the same things going on in life, but think of that energy and how it may apply to you. Now, Taurus, obviously this is an opposition. These are opposite signs. At some point, Scorpio is going to be in opposition to your Taurus sun, wherever that is, or if it's your Taurus moon or your rising, whatever you're looking at this video for, right? You may be forced to deal with complex or intense issues, people, events at this particular time. Now, you have to come a little bit more full force in a way than usual. The transits and the different seasons are all a way for us to fully experience life. If you are a Taurus and you only experience Taurus things, there'd be so many different things we're missing, which is why it's important for us to know the energies of all the signs. It's important to think about what you want to protect, what you wish to hold on to, and there may be things you can't let go of during the season. You know, that may be possible, but maybe you'd like to keep some things at a level of calm and a little predictability, but you also want to look at how this opportunity exists for you to settle things in a kind of different nature. Sometimes it may help you to be a little bit more intentional in what you're holding on to. So that way you're not just holding on to things that you think that have value, but you're assessing what value, who and what is actually valuable in your life, and really capitalizing on that Scorpio intensity and that Scorpio ability to hold on to things. The Scorpio ability to hold on to the intense emotions, the ability for Scorpio to commit to things, the ability for Scorpio to want to multiply things. Gemini. Now, for Gemini, this is maybe a little bit of uncomfortable energy for you. Like you don't make any necessarily positive aspects to Scorpio. You know, Gemini and Scorpio are 5 signs apart. But you might feel like you can't just move on this month. You can't just move on this month. Well, you know, Scorpio season will range from October to November. But you have to face what's difficult and what's in front of you. You can't just talk your way out of it this time. Do you want to just move on to something because it's uncomfortable or because you actually need to get over it, right? Sometimes Gemini energy, we know, it can dabble in a lot of different things. You're very curious. You like to be around a lot of different stimulation, but this might be a time where you feel a little bit more insular. You might even want to retreat a little bit, right? You may feel like you are a little bit away from people at this time as you try to really figure out certain things. There may be something deep or intense that you need to talk to someone about, that you need to get off your chest. You know, it may not be native to you because sometimes it's easier for Gemini to deal with objective things. It is easier for a lot of signs, especially the air signs and the fire signs, to deal with things outside of themselves. But how do you really take care of the things that are internal as well? And so this is a great opportunity. It's a part of your development. This might be the opportunity for you to deal with something more head on, more directly. Don't run from it, right? So that you don't have to deal with it again. All right. Cancer. So, you know, there's a trine, you know, that can exist between Scorpio and Cancer by degree. You're only dealing with who you want to deal with this month. You know, a lot of times Cancer kind of takes care of everybody they feel they have to take care of, that they have an obligation to, but Scorpio is an opportunity for you. It hardens the Cancer energy a little bit more, but mostly because there's a greater sense. Again, I'm looking over at my notes that I typed up that I wanted to say. There's a greater sense of needing to focus more intensely on something you know you're tired of having to sacrifice for. You're tired of having to deal with this person's situation. You've been there for them 20 times. You're tired of it. You're tired of being the only one to do this. So you might only be focusing on certain things, and people may accuse you of being selfish or changing or being different, but it's really because you have to learn sometimes how to say no and how to deal with the things that matter to you. You know, what is pouring into you? You know, Scorpio energy can deal with gain, right? Who and what is pouring into the Cancer? Okay, and just making sure that you're understanding that. You know, you might be dealing with some boundary issues this month when you're putting your foot down on something. You're really starting to literally define what matters to you instead of doing by default, right? Taking care of people by default, doing something by default, right? You're entitled, you know, to your own sense of support. You're entitled to really identify what you want. You're entitled to have an experience where you can build out different things you want to connect to instead of feeling like you constantly have to deal with the things that have been, you know, present in your life for a very long time. You get really attached to your commitments, to the people that you care about, and all those different things. But don't be surprised if some of you deal with some boundary issues. Leo, you don't particularly love Scorpio season because it's awkward energy for you, you know, 5 sides apart. Now, Leo and Scorpio are powerhouse energies in terms of in a person's chart. They have Leo and Scorpio somewhere. There's some interesting dynamics with control and power, even prominence, even leadership, focus, you know, things that come out on top for very, very, very different reasons. Don't get me wrong. Leo and Scorpio energy has very different methods of how to get something, as you may see and know. But it's a quincunx, which means anything that's taken too seriously can be kind of a struggle for Leo. They don't want to deal with that, right? You're out of the fun season. You know, Virgo season came, you kind of could deal with that. Libra season came, Leo and Libra are sextile, so you kind of could deal with that. But right now it's like Scorpio season is now upon you, and you know, so it's kind of feels a little bit, you might feel a little bit out of alignment, but it also gives you the opportunity to provide and grow in ways that are not always comfortable. And I wrote about the analogy of new shoes or shoes. When you are a young kid, your feet grow really fast. So sometimes you don't know your feet have grown until you go to put your shoes on, they're too tight, right? But you didn't realize that until you put the shoes on. And then you're like, oh, how do I solve that problem? I need to get a pair of new shoes. So with Leo, think of that, right? You need to welcome, you need to, you know, you might even need to scrap any energy during this time that is too loose, something that you're shining a light on because you want it to work, you want it to be positive, but that Scorpio energy is like, look deeper, right? And you'll come out of it. We don't have to worry about these transits because they are temporary, but it's very important for you to understand those things. And like, I know you like to cherish things a lot when you think it's the best or you think something is right for you. You want to showcase it, you know, and you want to have a reputation about things. You're Leo. You like, right? You're Leo. You're like, this is the best, or I have the best this, or I have the best that, or this is good. Even in the cheerleading type of thing, right? It's not always all Leos are bragging. It's you might just really care a lot about what excites you and who excites you. But with Scorpio season, it's time to dig a little bit deeper, even if there's an uncomfortable truth about yourself and what you're really feeling. If you don't feel your usual self, it is okay. You are uncovering something that can help you move on. Virgo, you're ruled by Mercury, so a lot of times, you know, though you may not move as fast as Gemini, you do feel the need to be responsive to things and tasks that have to get done, especially if it has something to do with work, right? Anything task-oriented. But Scorpio energy is fixed and more thoughtful in terms of process, right? Virgo, and you can be similar, but Virgo likes to try to figure things out quickly. Mercury ruled. Scorpio's ruled by Mars and Pluto, but has more of that Pluto effect. You know, Pluto can wait a long time. It brings forth complementary traits for you because, you know, there's sextile, you sextile Scorpio. But sometimes you're afraid to take things on to the next level. You want to do what's efficient. That's, I don't want to commit to that. That's too much, right? Gemini can move on to the next thought, right? So in a way, Gemini and Virgo can be very similar. It's mutable energy. No matter what you say, Virgo is still mutable even though it's Earth. But with Scorpio, it's fixed water. So it's a great time for you to pour into something, slow down for a moment. And take something that you've been working on and really put your full effort into it. Mold it into what you want it to be. It is yours. Make sure that you're giving yourself permission to grow something in a way that is going to allow it to be even more intense, deeper, and magnify over time. Figuring out your own power, you're working through boundaries. If you're doing anything that requires you to pause and create something that is going to be more, that is fine. Utilize the Scorpio energy to be more intense. Usually, you know, okay, maybe I could figure it out this way. Like you can be good at figuring out ways to do things efficiently, or okay, on the fly, let me figure this out, right? This process. But this is a great time for you to utilize Scorpio energy, be more intense, be more dedicated, stay focused on something in particular to really see it grow. Libra. Now, this is your neighboring sign, which means you don't really have much in common, with the exception of there being some loose commonalities in terms of partnership, especially when you think of the astrological wheel, 7th house of partnership, 8th house, well, 7th can be marriage, partnership, 8th house can be intimacy. You can sometimes see patterns and traits in the 8th house in terms of what you gain from a partner and those types of things. But when we look here at Libra, you know, Scorpio is more of the intimacy realm, and you're more of the general partnership theme. And so, you know, Scorpio is really good at making decisions, and Libra, you can sometimes struggle with that balance because you want to be impartial. It can mean you struggle to make decisions that need to be made. Scorpio has no problem cutting strings, forming attachments. Again, Scorpio is all about what it wants and what it desires, right? And so with you, it's like, how do you pull together that energy now, Libra, to know what you really desire, what you really want, what are you really going for? This helps set the tone. Yes, anytime energy is not trining or conjunct or sextiling our sign, it can feel difficult at first. The energy is not going to merge perfectly. If it's unsettling information, you have to learn to deal with it, right? Scorpio's comfort level with things that are secret, mysterious, uncertain, dark. The nature for Libra is to look at everything from the what is there, what is possible, what's in front of me, right? Here's what I have. I'm going to look at these two things. But how do you allow this for you to not wait until something dramatic happens to make a decision? And so if you feel more of that pressure to make a decision, especially if you're a Libra that has Scorpio energy, this is a great time to do it. Make the decision. You know, the pursuit of things that really matter, even within your partnerships, making decisions. It doesn't mean you're breaking up with someone or even getting with someone this month, you know, this season, you know, spreads into November. But it is about making decisions that are beneficial to you and not just ones that are going to just keep the peace. I think that's the thing about Scorpio. Scorpio knows what it's getting out of something. And I don't mean that always in like a predatory type of way, but it's like with Libra, you like the feeling of being in sync with someone, being in union. But sometimes it's unclear who's doing what. Is it reciprocal? All those different things. So during Scorpio season, realign yourself with what you really want from these alliances that you do have. Now, Scorpio, it's your time, but it's also your time to get out of your own way. This brooding, the waiting period is over. You're not going to change who you are, but this is your season, which means what you have been putting your energy into can really manifest if you are allowing it to manifest. A lot of times Scorpio can get involved in self-sabotage, skepticism, things like that. In fact, similarly to your sextile sign Virgo, you both can be kind of skeptics at some point, right? You have to trust how you feel and your gut instinct, and Virgo has to trust the facts of what they've figured out, right? For you, it's based on experience. Concepts get wrapped up and become a part of what you think and what you feel and how you align yourself, right? But it's time to trust and lean into your instincts. You know, what have you been sensing? What you've been sensing will be revealed in a way that allows for you to move on. Also, you feel a heightened sense of power during the season. And by power, I don't necessarily mean it through just wielding power over people. I mean personal power, integrity, allowing yourself what you want to take form, not hiding some of the things that you want, and really making sure that you're giving yourself the opportunity to showcase. You're not going to showcase like a Leo, but it's about Scorpio season being about, look at what I have, look at what I've made, look at what I've done. It's a great time for you to share something you've been working on, share the progress of something, share the evolution of something. Scorpio suns, people dominant Scorpio energy. This could be a good time for people who have been working on something, reveal it. Like a person who's like, you know, if it's a designer, like, here's my new showcase, or here's my new collection, right? Like that Scorpio energy is anything that's been building up over time and that has the potential to really transform and be powerful. It's a great time to show it now. Okay. Don't become wrapped up just in your world. It's opportunity to show the impact you have on the world, right? Be shown. Don't just hide in the shadows. Don't wait to be respected. Don't wait to be called out. Don't wait to be invited. This is your time to really kind of put forth that initiative and that effort. Now, again, Scorpio is not a showmanship type of sign. It is not a showy sign. However, it is a sign that can be very dedicated and committed to something. And so this is a time for you to really embody that, embrace that, and make sure that that's what you're bringing to the table. Now, Sagittarius. Scorpio season can bring forth to you a period of depth and reflection. Now, it's not completely foreign to you to think deeply, but you tend to think very deeply about worldly things and topics and philosophy. Sagittarius sometimes, now go, no, it's personal truth in your journey. But sometimes our journey, we could, you know, external fire and energy, you could go without really reflecting and taking a moment. So it's about finding you, right? You know, a lot of times, again, like I said, you rely on theories and philosophies, but certain seasons provoke more of a need to explore your inner emotions and vulnerabilities. That's what Scorpio is going through on a daily basis. And so, though it's an uncomfortable season, it is more about knowing deeply and understanding things also from an emotional level, really challenging yourself to understand what your morals and your beliefs are. You might even have a situation where someone kind of challenge you. Now, it's not a square energy, so most of you won't experience a direct conflict necessarily, but doing this can help you, can grant you more awareness of yourself. You'll be able to relate to people more through deep experiences, right? Remember what I said about, well, I don't know if I said that in one of my TikTok videos. I talked about the good and the bad of the fire signs. I said sometimes Sagittarius can be preachy because Sagittarius tends to have a lot of knowledge, but also you want to make sure you have self-knowledge, and that does come from periods of reflection, of thinking of the deepest things that you've gone through and understanding how it relates to who you are now. Okay. And so it requires, you to really, uncover the true feelings that you have undisturbed from the external world, right? Capricorn. Well, Capricorn creates a sextile energy to Scorpio eventually, in terms of transits and in terms of people's charts. Both are signs that work well with concentration and focusing on something. When Scorpio wants to acquire something in Capricorn, the energy is pretty strong. They tend to get it done, right? Now, there's different reasons, there's different traits between Scorpio and Capricorn, obviously, but you get to experience Capricorn, the internal benefits of progress and being attached. Maybe something you're working towards is an emotional reason. It has an attachment. It's something you promised a family member you would do, or you feel really connected to something that's a goal. You feel really connected to something during the season that you are a part of, that you are working towards. And again, it doesn't have to just mean work, but there's some emotional connection to wanting to transform, wanting to change, wanting to be better. It's right. Sometimes Capricorn, you don't know why you want what you want. You just know you want it, and you know it's expected of you, especially those of you that fall in line with what your family wants you to do. You could be great at many things, but you don't sometimes know why. That's the Saturn. Saturn is disciplinarian energy and parental energy, so it tells you what to do. So in that cycle, sometimes Capricorn can forget, why am I doing what I'm doing? So Scorpio season offers the opportunity for you to remain focused and serious, but understand your deeper motivations and why certain things are important to you. And it helps you evolve, okay? It helps you evolve. Capricorn can be like, done, successful, got the thing done. Or, I had an idea for something and now I feel accomplished. Capricorn can say, I have everything in order the way that I want it to be. I'm good. I have the things that I need. I've worked for it. I'm good. But Scorpio energy allows for that, the evolving, the transformation process. How did that thing you got, Capricorn, change you? How did that experience you had, Capricorn, besides getting what you want, how did it help you understand what you really care about, what you really are dedicated to, and why? Aquarius, as a square sign, you square, obviously, Scorpio, and you are obviously air and water. So this could be a difficult period for you. You may not understand why people around you are taking things so seriously. This is a shift. We went from Libra season, which you know, Libra and Aquarius trine. Maybe you felt decent during Libra season, to now to Scorpio season, where everything's intense. And conflicts and misunderstandings can happen between communication and intention at this time. You may also feel the internal conflict within yourself. It may not mean that you're having a conflict with other people directly, or you know, those around you or your community, but it can mean you feel that pressure. Maybe something is, you feel more serious about something than usual, and you're like, why am I feeling this way? I think another thing here is you may also feel this internal conflict because you may feel misaligned from social expectations more than usual. So even an experience that could be an epiphany at this time may happen to you around the root of why you feel what you feel, why you think what you think. A lot of times Aquarius, as the, you know, the thinker, as the thought provoker, as the outside the box thinker, the person who can kind of bring up the controversy, but also help us see, you know, things that people may not be comfortable talking about, but like bringing it up. Within that, you become locked into that, right? And it's ideas, it's information that you are talking about in a different way than maybe Gemini and Libra does. But then sometimes you may not always be certain in certain areas of your life why you feel that way, why you think that way. Sometimes you don't think about it. I just think this, right? But Scorpio season may have experiences that kind of force you to understand why you think the way you think, or confirm or make you change the way that you think. Remember, Scorpio can be about transformation. Pisces. Now, obviously, Pisces will eventually trine Scorpio in your birth chart, or, you know, in the general transit. You may feel a sudden desire to be more steady during Scorpio season. Not to say Scorpio season is better for you than Pisces season, but, you know, there's opportunity there. Decisions during this time may feel more permanent in nature, and you are evaluating serious situations. You may be more guarded, but that is for a good reason, okay? You are establishing maybe certain boundaries. You are making decisions that may be more permanent, okay? The good-natured side of Pisces, sometimes that exists for some people, where you believe in things. You believe it's going to happen. You hope and you wish. But now Scorpio, it's about obtaining and receiving. So no longer is it okay to just wish upon a star. Scorpio energy is about receiving, obtaining, getting something. Not always in a bad way. It could be intimacy and things as well. Finances. We know all those things. There's a video about that, 8th house and Scorpio, and I have videos about all that. But right now it's about how you are giving yourself the opportunity to receive messages of, is it right or not? Because Scorpio can have us face some more emotional truths. And so with Pisces, you now have the opportunity to say, you know what? I wanted that, but I'm not getting return. Yeah, I thought that was a good idea, but actually financially that's not really going to make sense, right? Like that is the types of conversations, internal dialogue you need to be having with yourself. And again, boundaries, setting boundaries where necessary while indulging in situations that are beneficial in your development. Those things can be on the horizon.